I lent my son $50,000 to help him buy his dream home. It wasn't really a loan, not in the way banks think about loans. It was love, the kind that empties your savings account but fills your heart with something you can't quite name. I told myself I wasn't losing money. I was building his future. I was giving him the foundation I never had. But the first time I drove up that long, smooth driveway with a homemade pie cooling in the passenger seat and pride swelling in my chest, he met me at the door and didn't let me in. "Mom," he said softly, his eyes darting behind him into the house, "it's not a good time right now." I thought he was joking. I actually laughed. He didn't. That's when I realized the house I helped build had no room for me. But this isn't really a story about money. It's about what love costs when you give it without asking for anything in return. It's about the invisible price tags we attach to sacrifice, and the moment you realize that sometimes the people you love most can hurt you in ways you never saw coming. My name is Margaret Henderson. I'm 63 years old, and I live in a small 2-bedroom house on Maple Street that my husband Richard and I bought 32 years ago. Richard passed away 4 years ago. Lung cancer. He was a good man, the kind who fixed neighbors' fences without being asked and always made sure I had flowers on our anniversary. When he died, he left me with this house, some insurance money, and our son Tom. Tom was 31 when this story begins. He'd always been a good boy. I know every mother says that, but with Tom, it felt true in a way that went beyond normal parent pride. After Richard died, Tom called me every Sunday without fail. He'd drive over to help with things around the house, the things Richard used to handle. Loose gutters, the temperamental water heater, the way the back gate always stuck in humid weather. We were close, or at least I thought we were. Tom had been dating Sarah for about 2 years when they got engaged. She worked in marketing for some tech company, always dressed beautifully, always polite in that careful way that made me feel like I was being handled rather than talked to. She'd call me Mrs. Henderson, even after I asked her 3 times to call me Margaret. There was something in her smile that never quite reached her eyes when she looked at me, but I told myself I was being paranoid, protective. The kind of mother who needed to learn to let go. They got married in a small ceremony. Tasteful, Sarah called it. There were maybe 40 people there. The venue was elegant, all white linens and champagne flutes, the kind of place where you're afraid to laugh too loud. I wore my best dress, the navy one with the pearl buttons, and I smiled so hard my cheeks ached. During the reception, Sarah's mother kept talking about their plans to buy a house in Riverside Estates, this new development where all the homes looked like they belonged in magazines. "It's where the young professionals are moving," she said, her voice light and sure. "Much better than those older neighborhoods." She didn't look at me when she said it, but I felt it anyway. That small sting. My neighborhood, with its 50-year-old houses and chain-link fences, wasn't good enough, wasn't the right kind of address. But I smiled. I always smiled. 6 months after the wedding, Tom came to visit me on a Thursday afternoon. He had that look on his face, the one he used to have as a boy when he'd broken something and was trying to figure out how to tell me. We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where he'd done his homework and eaten thousands of meals. The afternoon light came through the window the way it always did, making patterns on the worn linoleum. "Mom," he started and then stopped. He ran his hand through his hair. "We found a house." I felt my heart lift. "Oh, sweetheart, that's wonderful." "It's in Riverside Estates. It's perfect. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a backyard big enough for kids someday. There's this huge kitchen with an island and granite countertops, and Sarah loves it. We both love it." I reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "I'm so happy for you." "But there's a problem." He pulled his hand back, started fidgeting with a napkin on the table. "The bank. They approved us for a mortgage, but we're short on the down payment. We need 20% to avoid the higher interest rate and the PMI, and we're about $50,000 short." $50,000. The number sat between us, like something with weight. "I know it's a lot," he continued quickly. "I wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate, but this house, Mom, it's not going to last on the market. Someone else will grab it. And Sarah's been dreaming about this specific neighborhood, and I just want to give her that. I want to give us that start, you know." I looked at my son. his father's eyes, but worried in a way Richard never was. There's something about seeing your child want something so badly that it physically hurts. You spend their whole childhood trying to give them things, trying to make their lives easier than yours was, trying to smooth out all the rough edges of the world before they cut themselves on them. "I'd pay you back," he said. "With interest, we draw up papers, make it official." But I was already nodding, already doing the math in my head. My savings account had about $63,000 in it. Richard's life insurance and what we'd managed to put away over the years. It was supposed to be for my retirement, for emergencies, for that cushion everyone tells you to maintain. But what's money compared to your child's happiness? "You don't need to pay me back," I heard myself say. "Consider it an early inheritance. Consider it a gift." Tom's face transformed. He came around the table and hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "Mom, are you sure? That's your savings." "I'm sure. Your father would have wanted this too. We always wanted you to have a good life, a better start than we had." I went to the bank the next Tuesday. The teller, a young woman with careful makeup, processed the withdrawal. $50,000 transferred to Tom and Sarah's account. I watched the numbers on my balance change. 63,000 became 13,000 in the space of a signature. The teller smiled at me. "Big purchase." "Helping my son buy a house," I said, and the pride in my voice was real. She nodded. "That's really generous." I drove home with my receipt in my purse and my heart feeling full. That night I made chicken soup, Tom's favorite, and I thought about grandchildren running through a backyard in Riverside Estates. I thought about holidays in that big kitchen with the granite countertops. I thought about being the kind of mother who could give her son his dreams. I didn't think about what it would cost me. Not the money, the other price. The house closing happened 3 weeks later. Tom called me that evening, his voice electric with excitement. "We got the keys, Mom. We're in. We're actually in." "Congratulations, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you." There was a pause, some muffled talking in the background, and then he said, "Why don't you come by tomorrow? We're just unpacking, everything's chaos, but you should see it." I bought a plant on the way there, a fiddle leaf fig, healthy and green in a terracotta pot. The woman at the nursery said they symbolized growth and abundance, that they'd grow tall if you treated them right. I thought it was perfect. Something living for their new home, something that would grow with them. The house was everything Tom had described. Pale brick facade, black shutters, a door that looked like it belonged in a design catalog. The lawn was professionally landscaped, not a dandelion in sight. When I pulled up, my 10-year-old sedan looked shabby against their new driveway. Tom met me at the door in a t-shirt and jeans, his hair messy, and for a moment he looked 12 again. "Mom, come in, come in." The inside smelled like paint and newness. Hardwood floors gleamed under afternoon light. The kitchen was exactly as he described, all clean lines and modern fixtures. Cardboard boxes were stacked everywhere, labeled in Sarah's neat handwriting. Kitchen, dishes. Master bedroom, linens. Living room, books. Sarah appeared from one of the back rooms. She was wearing yoga pants and an oversized sweater, her hair pulled back in a ponytail, and she looked comfortable in a way I'd never seen her. Like she'd finally found the setting where she belonged. "Mrs. Henderson," she said, and there was that smile again. Polite, careful. "Thank you so much for coming by. I brought you this," I held out the plant, "for your new home." She took it, held it at arm's length like she wasn't quite sure what to do with it. "Oh, how thoughtful. I'll find a spot for it." We ordered Chinese food and ate it sitting on the floor of their empty living room, using the cardboard boxes as tables. Tom talked about his plans for the backyard, how they'd put in a deck eventually, maybe get a dog. Sarah talked about paint colors and furniture she'd been looking at online. I listened and smiled and felt grateful to be included in this moment. But there was something I couldn't quite name. The way Sarah kept glancing at her phone. The way she'd mentioned twice that they had a lot of unpacking to do. The way Tom seemed almost apologetic every time he asked me a question, like he was stealing time that belonged to someone else. When I left that evening, I hugged Tom goodbye and he said, "Thanks again, Mom, for everything. We couldn't have done this without you." And I believed him. I drove home thinking about how good it felt to be needed, to be useful, to give your child something that mattered. Funny how things that grow can also push people apart. The first month passed in a blur of their settling in. Tom called less often, but I understood. They were busy. New house, new routines, new life taking shape. When I called him, he always sounded slightly distracted, like I'd caught him in the middle of something important. "How's the house?" I'd ask. "Great, Mom. Really great. Still getting everything organized." "And the plant, is it doing okay?" A pause. "The plant, oh yeah, it's fine." I'd ask when I could come visit properly, when things had settled down enough for me to see it all put together. He'd say soon, definitely soon. They just needed to get through this hectic period. I understood. I told myself I understood. By the second month, I started to worry. Not big worry, not the kind that keeps you up at night, but the small, persistent kind that sits in your chest like a pebble. The Sunday calls stopped. When I called him, more often than not it went to voicemail. He'd call back later, always apologetic. Work was crazy. They were having people over. They'd been out of town for the weekend. Always a reason, always logical, always leaving me nodding and smiling on my end of the phone, telling him I understood, it was fine, I knew they were busy. But I missed him. I missed having someone to talk to about the small things. The way the Morrisons' dog had gotten loose again. How the grocery store had rearranged everything, and now I couldn't find the tea. The fact that the magnolia tree in my backyard was blooming early this year, and didn't that mean something about the weather patterns changing? Richard used to listen to all of it. Tom used to listen to all of it. Now I talked to myself while I watered my garden and pretended it didn't matter. 3 months after they moved in, I decided to visit. I didn't call first. I told myself I wanted to surprise them, but the truth was I was tired of waiting for an invitation that never quite came. I baked my famous apple pie, the one with the lattice crust that Richard always said was better than any restaurant. I packed it carefully in a carrier and drove the 23 minutes to Riverside Estates on a Saturday afternoon. The neighborhood looked like a movie set, every lawn perfectly manicured, every mailbox matching. The houses all variations on the same theme, like someone had built a whole street out of the same catalog. Kids rode bikes on smooth sidewalks. A woman jogged past with a designer dog on a matching leash. I found their house and pulled into the driveway behind a car I didn't recognize. That should have been my first sign, but I was too focused on the pie and my nervousness and my desire to see my son. I walked up to the front door and rang the bell. Those few seconds of waiting felt longer than they should have. I could hear voices inside, laughter, music playing softly, the sound of people enjoying themselves. The door opened. Sarah stood there in a cream-colored dress, hair styled, makeup perfect. Behind her, I could see people in their living room, wine glasses, cheese plates, the kind of casual sophistication I'd only seen in magazines. Her expression when she saw me was something I'll never forget. Surprise, yes, but underneath it something else. Annoyance, panic. It flashed across her face so quickly I almost thought I'd imagined it. "Mrs. Henderson," not a question, a statement, an acknowledgement of something unexpected and unwelcome. "Hi, Sarah. I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd stop by with." I held up the pie carrier, suddenly aware of how homemade it looked, how out of place. "I made apple pie." She didn't move from the doorway, didn't step back to let me in. "Oh, that's very sweet of you. We're actually in the middle of something right now." From behind her, I heard Tom's voice. "Who is it?" "It's your mother," Sarah called back, and something in her tone made me feel small. Tom appeared behind her, and his face did the same complicated dance as Sarah's had. "Mom, hey. What are you doing here?" I laughed, but it sounded wrong even to my own ears. "I brought pie. I thought I'd surprise you." "We have guests," he said, and he glanced back into the house like they were waiting for him. "It's not really a good time." I stood there on their doorstep, holding a pie, while my son essentially told me I wasn't welcome. Behind them, I could see the people in their living room. Young couples, dressed well, drinking wine. the kind of gathering I'd seen in movies but never been part of. "I can just drop this off," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "I don't need to stay." Sarah took the pie carrier from me, holding it at an awkward angle. "Thank you. This is really thoughtful." "Maybe next time call first," Tom said, and he tried to soften it with a smile, but the words still landed like a slap. "We're just, we have a schedule and things planned, and showing up unexpected makes it hard." I nodded. I was still nodding as the door started to close. "Of course, I understand I should have called." "We'll call you soon, okay," Tom said through the narrowing gap. "We'll have you over for dinner properly." The door closed. Not a slam. Worse than a slam. Just a gentle, firm closing that said, "You're not part of this." I stood there for a moment, staring at their wreath on the door. One of those expensive ones made of eucalyptus and white flowers, the kind that Sarah probably ordered from some boutique website. I could still hear the laughter inside, muffled now but unmistakable. I walked back to my car, sat in the driver's seat, stared at their front door and waited for something, though I don't know what. An apology. For them to realize their mistake and call me back. For this to suddenly make sense. The wind chimes on their porch sang in the breeze. Somewhere nearby, a sprinkler started up, that rhythmic TCHK, TCHK, TCHK of water hitting grass. My pie carrier sat on their porch where Sarah had set it down after taking the pie, empty now, forgotten. I started the car, drove home. The whole way I kept replaying that moment, the look on their faces, the door closing, the fact that I'd needed my own son to tell me not to visit unannounced. When did I start needing an appointment to see my own child? That night, I sat in my kitchen and cried for the first time since Richard's funeral. Not loud, dramatic crying, just quiet tears that I couldn't quite stop, sitting in the dark at my kitchen table, in the same chair where Tom had asked me for the money, in the same house where I'd raised him and loved him and taught him how to be a person in the world. My phone buzzed, a text from Tom. "Sorry about today. Next time just give us a heads up. Makes things easier." Not "I'm sorry I hurt you." Not "I should have invited you in." Just "sorry about today," like I'd caused an inconvenience rather than experienced a wound. I typed back, "Of course, I understand." But I didn't understand. I didn't understand at all. The next few weeks settled into a new pattern, though pattern might be too generous a word. It was more like an absence of pattern, an absence of the relationship I thought we had. I stopped calling as much, not because I didn't want to talk to him, but because I was tired of feeling like I was bothering him. Every conversation felt strained, like he was waiting for me to get to the point so he could get back to his real life. When I did call, Sarah would often answer, "He's in the shower. He's on a work call. He's outside doing yard work." Always a reason why we couldn't talk right then, and could he call me back later? He rarely did. I found out about their 4th of July party from Linda Morrison, my neighbor. She mentioned that her daughter-in-law had been there, had posted pictures on Facebook. I didn't have Facebook. Didn't understand it, really, didn't want to learn. But Linda showed me on her phone. Pictures of Tom and Sarah's backyard, strung with lights, tables covered in food, people laughing, clinking glasses. Young, beautiful people in their young, beautiful house, having the kind of party that looked like it belonged in a lifestyle blog. I wasn't invited. Linda looked at me with those careful eyes, the kind of pitying look that makes you feel worse than the actual hurt. "I'm sure they just forgot," she said, but we both knew she didn't believe it. I went home and tended my garden, pulled weeds that didn't need pulling, dead-headed flowers that had weeks left in them, kept my hands busy so my mind couldn't wander too far into the dark places. But late at night, in the quiet hours when sleep wouldn't come, I'd lie in bed and think about that $50,000. Not because I wanted it back, not because I regretted giving it to him, but because I kept trying to do the math, trying to figure out the exchange rate. What $50,000 bought me in terms of my son's life, what it cost me in terms of his love. The equation never balanced. I thought about calling him, demanding to know what had changed, asking him directly why I wasn't welcome in his life anymore. But every time I picked up the phone, I'd hear Richard's voice in my head. He always said the same thing when Tom was younger and we'd fight. Give him space. Let him come to you. You can't force someone to love you the way you need. So I gave him space. I waited for him to come to me. August came, my birthday, 63 years old. Tom sent a text at 11 a.m. Happy birthday, Mom. Hope you have a great day. No phone call, no visit, just a text message, the kind of thing you'd send to an acquaintance. I spent the day at home, made myself a nice dinner, called my sister in Phoenix, who talked about her grandchildren and her recent vacation and barely asked about me, went to bed early. That night I dreamed about Richard. We were young again, sitting in our old apartment before we'd bought this house, before Tom was born. He was holding my hand and saying something I couldn't quite hear. I woke up reaching for him and found only empty space. The loneliness was enormous. Not the missing my husband loneliness that I'd lived with for 4 years, but something newer and sharper. The loneliness of being forgotten by the person you'd spent 31 years teaching to remember you. You spend your life teaching your child to stand on his own feet. You just never imagine he'll use those feet to walk away from you. September arrived with cooler mornings and leaves beginning to turn. I established new routines. Book club on Thursdays, volunteering at the library on Tuesday afternoons, grocery shopping on Wednesdays, church on Sundays where I'd smile at all the other older women and we'd share complaints about our backs and our knees and never about our children, because that hurt was too private, too specific to share over coffee and cookies in the fellowship hall. But they knew. I could see it in their eyes, the way Pastor Jim's wife. Beverly would ask about Tom and then quickly change the subject when my smile got too tight. The way Margaret Chen would pat my hand and say, "They get so busy at this age, don't they?" With that understanding, that meant she knew exactly what kind of busy my son was. The kind that had no time for his mother. One Sunday after service, I ran into Elizabeth Park. Her daughter had gotten married around the same time Tom did, and we'd bonded over wedding planning stress in the months before. We stood in the parking lot by our cars, that awkward not quite goodbye where you're making small talk because leaving feels abrupt. "How's Tom doing?" she asked. "Good," I said automatically. "Really good, they love the house." "That's wonderful." She adjusted her purse strap. "Kelly and her husband just bought a place too. They're having us over next weekend for dinner. I'm excited to see what they've done with it." I smiled, nodded, felt something twist in my chest. "Does Tom have you over often?" she asked, and I don't think she meant to be cruel. I think she was just making conversation. "Oh, they're so busy," I said, and there was that phrase again. That excuse that explained everything and nothing. "New house, you know how it is, getting settled." Elizabeth nodded, but something in her expression changed, softened. "Margaret, if you ever want to talk." "I'm fine," I said quickly. "Really, I should get going, have a good week." I drove home fast like I was running from something. Spent the afternoon in my garden again because that's where I always went when the feelings got too big. The tomatoes were coming in heavy. I'd have more than I could eat. I thought about taking some to Tom, then remembered that I needed to call first now, to make an appointment, to schedule my own presence in his life. I left the tomatoes on the vine. That evening, I did something I'd been avoiding. I went through my filing cabinet and found the bank statement from June. Found the line item showing the transfer. $50,000. Out, just like that. I ran my finger over the numbers. It wasn't about the money. It had never been about the money. But that slip of paper was proof of something. Evidence that I'd tried. That I'd given everything I could give. That whatever was happening now, I hadn't failed him through lack of trying. I put the statement back in its folder. Closed the filing cabinet. Sat in Richard's old chair and looked around our house. Our small, outdated, definitely not Riverside Estates house with its worn carpet and outdated fixtures and walls full of memories that no one else wanted anymore. "I don't know what to do," I said out loud to the empty room. To Richard, maybe. To God, if he was listening. To myself, because there was no one else. The house didn't answer. It never did. October brought rain and shorter days. I found myself sleeping later, staying up later, The hours in between feeling longer and emptier than they used to. Tom called once that month. Once. We talked for 11 minutes. I know because I looked at my call log afterward, trying to measure our relationship in minutes and seconds like they were currencies I could count. He told me about a promotion possibility at work, about Sarah taking up Pilates, about the new restaurant they'd tried that had amazing small plates. He didn't ask about me until the very end, and then only, "How are things with you?" "Good," I said. "Everything's good." What else could I say? That I was lonely. That I spent his childhood waiting for him to need me, and now I didn't know what to do with myself. That I'd given him $50,000 and somehow lost him anyway. You don't say those things. Not to your child. Not when you're trying to keep the last threads of connection from snapping completely. Good. Listen, Mom, I should go. We have dinner plans. But I'll call you soon, okay? Okay, I love you. Love you too. And he was gone. I started going to the coffee shop more often. The one downtown that Richard and I used to go to on Saturday mornings, back when Saturday mornings meant something different. I'd sit by the window with a book I wasn't really reading and watch people. Young mothers with strollers, elderly couples holding hands, teenagers loud with life and possibility. One morning, a young man came in with his mother. She was older, maybe 70, using a cane. He held the door for her, found them a table, went to order their drinks. While he was gone, she sat there with this expression on her face. Pure contentment, like this ordinary moment in a coffee shop was exactly where she wanted to be. When he came back with their drinks, they talked and laughed. He showed her something on his phone. She touched his hand across the table. I had to leave. Had to walk out before I started crying in public like some pathetic old woman who couldn't keep herself together. In the car, I called Tom. It went to voicemail. "Hi, sweetheart, it's Mom, just calling to say hello. No emergency, nothing important. Hope you're having a good day. Love you." He texted back 3 hours later. "Sorry, phone was on silent. Talk soon." Talk soon, always soon, never now. November arrived cold and gray. The holidays were coming and I didn't know what that meant anymore. Would Tom invite me for Thanksgiving? Would I spend it alone? Would they visit me, or was I expected to go there? And if I went there, would they actually let me in this time? I decided not to wait to find out. I'd make my own plans. My sister invited me to Phoenix for Thanksgiving, and I said yes immediately, grateful for somewhere to go, someone who wanted me there. When I told Tom, he sounded relieved. "Oh, that's great, Mom. That'll be nice for you. Sarah's family is coming here anyway, so it works out." Works out. Like my absence was convenient. Like they'd been worried about how to uninvite me. I bought my plane ticket. Started planning what to pack. Told myself this was good. This was healthy. This was me building a life that didn't revolve around waiting for my son to remember I existed. But late at night, I still cried. Still wondered what I'd done wrong. Still went through every conversation, every interaction, trying to find the moment where I'd lost him. It was mid-November when I decided to visit one last time. Not to fight, not to demand answers, just to understand. Just to see my son and try to figure out what had happened to us. I called first, like he'd asked. Left a voicemail saying I'd like to stop by this weekend if they had time. He texted back, "Saturday afternoon works." So formal, like I was a contractor coming to give an estimate. I spent Saturday morning anxious, changing outfits 3 times, trying to look nice but not trying too hard. Trying to look like a mother who was welcome. Trying to look like someone who belonged in her son's life. I drove to Riverside Estates under a gray sky that threatened rain. Their house looked exactly the same as it had that first day, except more settled, more permanent, like it had fully claimed them and they'd fully claimed it. Tom was in the driveway when I arrived, loading something into Sarah's car. He looked good, healthy, happy even, the kind of happy that made my chest ache because I wasn't part of it. "Hey, Mom." He gave me a quick hug, the kind that was more muscle memory than emotion. "How are you?" "I'm good. How are you?" Good. Busy, you know how it is." We stood there in the driveway for a moment. this awkward space between us that used to not exist. "Can we talk?" I asked. Something flickered across his face. Wariness, maybe, or guilt. "Sure, yeah. Sarah's inside. We're actually about to head out soon, but we have a few minutes." A few minutes. I got a few minutes. We went inside. The house looked different from that chaotic first day, fully furnished now, decorated. The walls covered in art that looked expensive. Everything matched. Everything looked like it came from the same design concept. It was beautiful in the way magazine houses are beautiful, perfect and untouchable. Sarah appeared from the kitchen, phone in hand. "Mrs. Henderson, hi." "Hi, Sarah." She looked at Tom. "I thought we were leaving at 2. "We are. Mom just wanted to stop by for a minute." That word, minute, like my presence needed to be measured in the smallest possible units of time. "I'll be upstairs," Sarah said, and she left without another word. Tom gestured to the couch. We sat, but not close. We sat the way strangers sit in a waiting room, polite distance between us. "So what did you want to talk about?" he asked. And there it was, the opening. The chance to say everything I'd been feeling for months. But looking at him, at this man I'd raised and loved and given everything to, I found I couldn't quite form the words. "I miss you," I said finally, and my voice cracked despite my best efforts. He looked down at his hands. "Mom." "I miss you," I repeated. "I miss talking to you. I miss seeing you. I miss being part of your life. And I don't understand what changed. I don't understand why I can't just drop by anymore, why you never call, why I wasn't invited to your 4th of July party, why I feel like I need permission to be your mother." The words came out faster than I meant them to. All the hurt I'd been holding spilling out in this messy, undignified way. Tom was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was careful. "It's not that simple." "Then explain it to me, please. Help me understand." He ran his hand through his hair, a gesture I'd seen 1,000 times when he was stressed. "Sarah, she has certain expectations about how we present ourselves, about the kind of life we're building here. And I don't fit into that. It's not that you don't fit, it's just, you're different. You're from a different world, and sometimes that makes things complicated." The words hit me like a physical thing. Different how? He looked everywhere but at me. At the expensive rug under our feet, at the art on the walls, at the life he'd built that apparently had no room for the woman who'd helped him build it. "You still take the bus, Mom. You shop at thrift stores. You live in that old house in that old neighborhood. And that's fine, that's great, but when Sarah's friends come over, when we have people here from work, it's embarrassing." There it was, the truth, simple and brutal and devastating. "I embarrass you." "No, that's not." He stopped, started again. "It's not you exactly, it's just the optics of it. Sarah's family, her friends, they're a certain kind of people. And having you show up unannounced or talking about you in certain ways, it makes us look, I don't know, less successful, I guess, like we haven't made it." I sat there absorbing this, processing the fact that my son, the boy I'd raised to be kind, to value people over things, to measure worth by character, not cash, was telling me that I was too poor, too old-fashioned, too embarrassing to be part of his shiny new life. "I gave you $50,000, I said quietly. His face flushed red. I know you did, and I'm grateful I am, but that doesn't mean." "That doesn't mean what?" "That I've earned the right to visit, that I've bought enough of your respect to be welcomed into the house I helped you buy." "It's not about the money." "Then what is it about, Tom? Explain it to me. Make me understand how we got here." He stood up, started packing. "You don't get it. You don't understand the pressure. Sarah's family has money, real money. Her dad's a surgeon. Her mom sits on charity boards. They live in this whole different world, and I'm trying to fit into that world, trying to be good enough for their daughter. And having a mother who still clips coupons and drives a car from 2015 and lives in a house that needs a new roof doesn't exactly help." Each word was another small cut. Death by 1,000 accurate observations about my ordinary life. "So what am I supposed to do?" I asked. "Pretend to be someone I'm not? Stay away until I'm rich enough to pass whatever test Sarah's family has set. I'm not asking you to change. I'm just asking you to understand that our lives are different now. That we need space to build this life without." He stopped, but I knew what came next. "Without me," I finished for him. He didn't deny it. From upstairs, I heard Sarah call down, "Tom, we need to leave in 10 minutes." He looked relieved at the interruption. "I should get ready." I stood up, smoothed my dress, the same navy one with pearl buttons I'd worn to his wedding, the best I had, which apparently wasn't good enough. "I gave you a house," I said quietly, "and you gave me a warning not to come near it." "Mom, that's not fair." "No," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "What's not fair is that you took my money and my love and decided they came with different price tags. What's not fair is that I spent 31 years teaching you that people matter more than appearances, and you learned the opposite." Tom stood there, silent, his face a mixture of shame and defensiveness. The silence stretched between us like a canyon. I walked toward the door. On my way, I passed the corner where I'd seen that fiddle-leaf fig plant on my first visit, the one I'd brought them, the one that symbolized growth and abundance. It was still there, but barely. Brown leaves, drooping stems, dying slowly in the corner of their perfect house, forgotten. I stopped, looked at it, then looked back at my son. "You let it die," I said. He followed my gaze, confused. "What?" "The plant, the one I brought you when you moved in. You let it die." "Mom, it's just a plant. We're not good with plants. We've been busy." "No," I said, "it's not just a plant." I walked out before he could respond, before I started crying in front of him, before I gave him the satisfaction of seeing exactly how much he'd broken my heart. Sarah was coming down the stairs as I reached the door. She saw me leaving and her face showed relief, not even trying to hide it anymore. "Goodbye, Mrs. Henderson," she said, polite as ever. I didn't respond. Couldn't. Just walked out that door and down that perfect driveway and got in my car. I didn't drive away immediately. I sat there, hands on the steering wheel, staring at their house. Their beautiful, expensive, empty house that I'd helped them buy. I thought about all the years I'd spent loving my son, all the sacrifices that had seemed so small at the time, the birthday parties I'd thrown on a budget, the clothes I'd sewn when we couldn't afford new ones, the extra shifts Richard had worked so Tom could go to summer camp, the college fund we'd started when he was born, feeding it $20 at a time. All of it leading to this moment, sitting in a car outside a house I wasn't welcome in, being told by my own child that I was an embarrassment. I started the car and drove home. The whole way, my phone sat silent in my purse. No call, no text. No, "I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean it that way." Nothing. When I got home, I walked straight to my bedroom and lay down on the bed Richard and I had shared for 27 years. The ceiling had a water stain in the corner we'd always meant to fix. The curtains were from J.C. Penney, circa 2003. The whole room was dated and ordinary, and exactly the kind of thing that embarrassed my son. I cried then, really cried. The kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep, that shakes your whole body, that sounds like an animal in pain. I cried for the money, yes, but more for everything the money represented. The trust, the hope, the belief that love could be given freely without keeping score. I cried for the relationship I thought we had, and the reality of what we actually were. I cried because I'd raised him better than this, and somehow it hadn't mattered. Eventually, the tears stopped. I lay there in the growing dark, listening to the house settle around me. This old house with its creaky floors and outdated fixtures. This house where I'd been happy, where Richard and I had built a life, where Tom had grown up. This house that was good enough for all of that, but not good enough for him anymore. My phone buzzed. For one hopeful moment, I thought it might be Tom, an apology, an acknowledgement, something. It was Sarah, a text message. "Mrs. Henderson, I think it's best if we all take some space for a while. Tom is very upset after your visit. Please respect our boundaries going forward." I read it 3 times. Each time it made less sense and hurt more. I'd been dismissed by my son's wife in a text message, as if I were some problematic acquaintance they needed to distance themselves from. I didn't respond. What could I possibly say? That night, I couldn't sleep. I wandered through my house like a ghost, touching things. The photos on the walls of Tom growing up, his baseball trophies in the spare room, the Mother's Day cards he'd made in elementary school, covered in glitter and crooked hearts. I found the folder of his artwork from kindergarten, finger paintings and crayon drawings. In one, he'd drawn our family, 3 stick figures holding hands, Mom, Dad, Tom, written in his teacher's handwriting. Below it, in Tom's own careful letters, I love MY family. I put it away, couldn't look at it anymore. The weeks that followed were the longest of my life, longer than the months after Richard died, because at least then I'd had Tom. I'd had someone to call, someone who checked on me, someone who made me feel less alone. Now I had silence. I went to Phoenix for Thanksgiving as planned. My sister's house was warm and loud with her children and grandchildren. They welcomed me, included me, made space for me at their table. But I felt like a tourist in their happiness, an observer of the kind of family connection I used to have. On Thanksgiving night, I checked my phone. No call from Tom, no text, not even a happy Thanksgiving, Mom. My sister found me in the guest room, staring at my phone. "You okay?" she asked. Tom didn't call. She sat down next to me on the bed. My older sister, who'd always been the practical one, the tough one. "Want to talk about it?" So I told her everything, the money, the rejection, the conversation in his living room, Sarah's text. All of it spilled out in one long, painful confession. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You know this isn't about you, right? It feels like it's about me. It's about him, about whatever he thinks he needs to be, about him choosing appearances over authenticity. That's his failure, not yours." I gave him so much. "I know you did. But Margaret, you can't love someone into loving you back the right way. You can't sacrifice your way into being valued. Sometimes people take what you offer and it still isn't enough, not because you didn't give enough, but because they're too broken to receive it properly." I wanted to argue with her, to defend my son, but I was too tired. "What do?" I asked. "You let go, not of loving him, but of waiting for him to become the person you raised him to be. You accept who he is now, and you decide what that means for you." I flew home after Thanksgiving with her words echoing in my head. Let go, accept, decide. December arrived with early snow and Christmas decorations appearing on everyone's houses but mine. I couldn't bring myself to decorate. Couldn't pretend at holiday cheer when my heart felt this hollow. Tom called once in early December. I almost didn't answer. "Hey, Mom, how was Thanksgiving?" "It was nice. How was yours?" "Good. Sarah's family came over. Big production." He laughed, but it sounded forced. "Listen, about Christmas. We're doing this year with Sarah's parents. They have this whole thing planned. But maybe New Year's, we could do dinner or something." Maybe, could, or something. Every word conditional and vague. "Sure," I said, because what else could I say? "Great, I'll text you." He didn't text me. Christmas Eve, I went to church. The sanctuary was beautiful, candlelit, filled with families. I sat in the back and watched them all. The young parents with squirming children, the teenagers texting through the sermon, the elderly couples who'd been sitting in these same pews for 50 years. Pastor Jim's sermon was about the Nativity, about Mary and Joseph being rejected, finding no room at the inn, making do with what they had. About how sometimes the most holy moments happen in the places where we're not wanted. I cried during the closing hymn, silent tears that I wiped away before anyone could see. Walking to my car after service, I ran into Beverly, the pastor's wife. "Margaret, honey, are you doing okay? We haven't seen you much lately." "I'm fine, just busy." She touched my arm, her eyes kind and knowing. "You know, a lot of us here understand what it's like when our children grow up and away, when they forget where they came from. You're not alone in this." "Thank you," I managed. "We're having Christmas dinner at the church tomorrow. For anyone who wants to come, just potluck and fellowship, you'd be welcome." I nodded, not trusting my voice. Christmas Day, I almost stayed home, almost spent it alone with my grief and my regrets. But something made me get up, make a casserole, drive to the church. There were maybe 30 people there, other lonely souls, other people whose families were elsewhere or absent. We sat together in the fellowship hall, eating food that didn't quite go together, making small talk that felt both awkward and comforting. An older man named Frank sat next to me. He must have been 80, his hands shaking slightly as he ate. "You here alone?" he asked. "Yes, you." "My kids are in California, can't travel anymore, and they're busy with their own families. That's how it goes, I guess." "That's how it goes," I echoed. We sat in silence for a moment, two strangers united by the specific loneliness of being forgotten by people who once needed us. "The hard part," Frank said slowly, "is accepting that you did your job. You raised them, you loved them. You gave them everything they needed to go out and build their own lives. And then they do exactly that. They go out, they build. And sometimes there's just not room in that new building for the old foundation." I looked at him. "That doesn't seem fair." "No," he agreed. "It doesn't, but fair and true are different things." I went home that evening and did something I'd been thinking about for weeks. I sat down at my kitchen table with a pen and paper, and I wrote Tom a letter. Not an angry letter, not a guilt trip or a list of everything he'd done wrong, just the truth, plain and simple. I wrote it by hand. The way I'd written him notes for his lunchbox when he was young. The way I'd written him letters at camp. The way people used to communicate before everything became texts and emails. It took me 3 hours and multiple drafts. When I finished, it was midnight. The house was silent around me. Outside, snow was falling, covering everything in clean white silence. I didn't mail it that night. I put it in an envelope, wrote his address on the front, and set it on my kitchen counter. Needed to sit with it for a few days. Needed to be sure. The letter said this: "Dear Tom Asterisk, I'm writing this because I don't know how else to say what needs to be said. Conversations between us have become so careful, so choreographed, that I don't think either of us can speak honestly anymore. I want you to know that I don't regret giving you the money. I would do it again, even knowing how things turned out, because that's what love is. It's giving without guarantee. It's hopping for the best while accepting that you can't control what someone does with your gift. But I do regret that it changed us. Or maybe it didn't change us. Maybe it just revealed what was already there, the distance between who you used to be and who you've decided to become. You told me I embarrass you. That hurt more than I can say, but I believe you were being honest. And I appreciate honesty, even when it wounds. At least now I understand why I'm kept at arm's length, why I need appointments to see you, why I wasn't invited to your parties, why Sarah sends me text messages setting boundaries as if I'm some kind of problem to be managed. I want you to know something, though. The life I live, the one you find embarrassing, is a life I'm proud of. Your father and I built this house with our own hands, almost literally. We painted every room. We planted every tree in the yard. We made this place a home through years of small efforts and careful saving and love. I take the bus because I choose to, because your father and I always believed in living below our means. I shop at thrift stores because I find perfectly good things there, and I was raised not to waste. I clip coupons because I remember what it's like to count every dollar, and that memory keeps me humble. These aren't flaws, Tom. They're choices. They're values. They're the same values your father and I tried to teach you. I understand that you're building a different kind of life. I understand that Sarah comes from wealth and that you're trying to fit into her world. I don't begrudge you that. Everyone has the right to choose their own path. But I won't apologize for mine. I also won't keep waiting at your door. I won't keep calling and hoping you'll have time for me. I won't keep measuring my worth by whether you remember I exist. This isn't an ultimatum. I'm not asking you to choose. I'm just telling you that I'm choosing myself now, choosing my dignity, choosing to stop shrinking myself to fit into spaces where I'm not wanted. I will always love you. That's not conditional. That's not something you can lose by treating me poorly or pushing me away. You're my son, and that bond is permanent. But love doesn't mean accepting mistreatment. It doesn't mean letting you make me feel small. It doesn't mean sacrificing my self-respect for your comfort. So I'm giving you space, real space, not the performative kind where I pretend to be busy while secretly waiting for you to call. The kind where I build a life that doesn't revolve around you. The kind where I find my own happiness instead of borrowing yours. If you ever want a relationship with me, a real one where I'm welcome and valued, I'll be here. I'll be in this house that embarrasses you, living this life that doesn't meet your standards, being exactly who I am. I hope someday you'll want that. I hope someday you'll remember that the woman who isn't fancy enough for your dinner parties is the same woman who sat up with you through fevers and nightmares, who taught you to ride a bike and to tie your shoes, who believed in you even when you didn't believe in yourself. I hope you'll remember that love isn't about appearances. It's about showing up. And for 31 years, I showed up for you every single day. Now I'm showing up for myself. With love always. Mom***. I mailed it 3 days later, after reading it probably 50 times. Wondered if I should soften it, make it less direct, add more cushioning to the hard truths. But no, if I'd learned anything from this whole painful experience, it was that unclear communication leads to unclear relationships. I'd been too vague, too accommodating, too willing to accept crumbs while calling it a feast. The letter was clear. It was honest. It was the most authentic thing I'd said to him in months. I mailed it, and then I waited. Days passed, then a week, then 2 weeks. No response. The silence was an answer in itself. January arrived with bitter cold and the kind of gray skis that make you forget the sun exists. I threw myself into other things. Started taking a watercolor class at the community center on Monday evenings. Joined a book club that met at the library. Volunteered more hours shelving returns and helping patrons find books. I was staying busy. That's what people do when they're trying not to think about the holes in their lives. They fill the hours with activity and hope that exhaustion will pass for peace. But late at night, the quiet would find me. I'd lie in bed and wonder if Tom had even read the letter, if he'd understood it, if it mattered at all. I thought about him more than I wanted to admit, wondered how he was doing, if he was happy, if Sarah was treating him well, if he ever thought about me. But I didn't call, didn't text, kept my promise to myself about space and dignity and self-respect. It was hard, harder than I'd expected. Every time my phone rang, my heart would jump, thinking maybe this time it would be him. It never was. Linda Morrison noticed the change in me. She brought over soup one cold afternoon, let herself in through the back door the way neighbors used to do before everyone got so private. "You've lost weight," she said, setting the soup on my counter. "Have I?" "Margaret," she looked at me with those direct eyes she had. "What's going on with you and Tom?" I told her, not everything, but enough. She listened without interrupting, and when I finished, she just shook her head. "That boy needs his head examined." "He's not a boy anymore. He's a man making his own choices." "Stupid choices." I smiled despite myself. "Maybe." "Not maybe, definitely." She paused. "You know what your problem is? You're too understanding. You're making excuses for him in your own head. He's stressed, he's trying to fit in, his wife is difficult. But the truth is simpler. He's being selfish and unkind, and you don't deserve that. He's my son. And you're his mother. That should mean something to him." Should, that word again. Should and could and might, the language of disappointment. February brought Valentine's Day. Richard and I used to celebrate, nothing fancy, just dinner and flowers and the comfortable love of people who'd chosen each other every day for decades. This year, I bought myself flowers, put them in a vase on the kitchen table, took myself to dinner at the Italian place downtown where Richard and I used to go. I sat alone at a table for two and ordered the carbonara. The waiter looked at me with pity, older woman, alone on Valentine's Day, and I wanted to tell him this wasn't sad. This was strength. This was choosing myself. But I didn't say anything. Just ate my pasta and watched the couples around me and wondered when exactly I'd become invisible. My phone rang while I was paying the bill. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. Mrs. Henderson, a woman's voice I didn't recognize. Yes. This is Nicole Chen. I'm your son's HR manager at Vertex Solutions. My heart stopped. HR manager, something was wrong. Accident, hospital, all the terrible possibilities flooding in at once. Is Tom okay? Oh, yes, he's fine. Sorry, I should have led with that. She sounded embarrassed. I'm actually calling about something else. We're doing updated emergency contact information, and Tom listed you. I just need to verify your phone number and address. I gave her the information, my hands shaking slightly. Emergency contact. After everything, I was still his emergency contact. The person he'd call if everything fell apart. It was something. A small thing, maybe meaningless, but I held on to it anyway. Thank you, Mrs. Henderson. And if you don't mind my saying, Tom talks about you sometimes. Says you're the strongest person he knows. I didn't know what to say to that. Couldn't reconcile it with the son who'd shut me out of his life. After I hung up, I sat in my car in the restaurant parking lot and cried. Again. Still. Always crying over a son who couldn't make room for me but couldn't quite let go either. March came in like a lion, all wind and late snow. I was in my garden, cutting back dead plants from winter, preparing the soil for spring when my phone rang. Tom. I stared at his name on the screen for 3 rings before answering. Hello. Mom, his voice sounded different, strained. Can we talk? We're talking now. No, I mean, can I come over? Every instinct told me to say no, to protect myself, to keep the space I'd worked so hard to create. But he was my son. When? Now, I'm actually already on my way. I should have called first, I know, but I need to talk to you. 20 minutes later, his car pulled into my driveway. I watched from the window as he sat there for a moment, gathering courage or composure or whatever he needed. When he got out, I could see immediately that something was wrong. He looked thinner, tired. The confident shine he'd had was gone, replaced by something heavier. I opened the door before he knocked. Hi, Mom. Come in. We stood in my small living room, this space that embarrassed him, and he looked around like he was seeing it for the first time. Or maybe the last time. His eyes caught on the photos on the walls, his school pictures, family vacations, the life we'd had before. I got your letter, he said finally. That was 2 months ago. I know, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to say. I'm still not sure I know what to say. Then why are you here? He sat down on the couch without being invited, buried his face in his hands. When he looked up, his eyes were red. Sarah and I are separating. Of all the things I'd expected, it wasn't that. What happened? Everything, nothing, I don't know. He laughed, but it was bitter. Turns out when you build a life based on appearances and keeping up with other people's standards, it's not very stable. It's not very real. I sat down in Richard's old chair, waited. Her parents never thought I was good enough, he continued. No matter what I did, how much I made, what kind of house we had. And Sarah, she started to believe them, started looking at me the way they did, like I was this project that wasn't turning out right. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, don't you dare be sorry. His voice cracked. You tried to warn me, you didn't say it directly, but your letter. Mom, your letter destroyed me. In a good way, maybe. It made me see what I'd become. Tom, let me finish, please, I need to say this. He took a shaky breath. I was ashamed of you. You were right about that. Not because of anything you did, but because I'd bought into this idea that success meant looking a certain way, having certain things, knowing certain people. And you didn't fit that image. He stood up, started packing my small living room. But you know what's funny? Really funny in a horrible way. The people I was trying to impress don't give a damn about me. Sarah's friends, her parents, all those people at our parties. They smiled to my face and talked about me behind my back. about how I was from nowhere, how I married up, how I'd never really be one of them. How did you find out? I heard Sarah's mother on the phone, telling someone about how Sarah could do so much better, how I was just a phase. She didn't know I was home. He laughed again, that same bitter sound. I spent 2 years trying to please these people, and they never had any intention of accepting me. I didn't say I told you so, didn't need to, he knew. The worst part, he said quietly, is what I did to you. Mom, I cut you out of my life. The person who actually loved me, who actually supported me, who gave me everything including $50,000 I haven't even started to pay back. I treated you like you were the problem. You were trying to build a life. I was trying to build a lie. He turned to face me. And I hurt you, deeply. The look on your face that day when I told you I was embarrassed. Mom, that look haunts me. We sat in silence for a moment. Outside, I could hear birds. Spring was coming, slowly but definitely. Where are you staying? I asked. I got an apartment, small place downtown. Sarah's keeping the house. He smiled weakly. Ironic, right? I spent all that money, your money, on a house I'm not even going to live in. What happens now? I don't know, divorce eventually. Figure out my life. Try to become someone I can actually respect. He looked at me. And I wanted to apologize, really apologize. Not the half-assed, sorry you're upset kind of apology, but a real one. Mom, I was cruel to you. I prioritize things that don't matter over the person who matters most. And I don't know if you can forgive me, but I needed you to know that I see it now. I see what I did. I looked at my son, really looked at him. Saw the boy who used to bring me dandelions like they were roses. The teenager who'd cried on my shoulder when his first girlfriend broke his heart. The young man who'd called me every Sunday after his father died. Somewhere inside this person who'd hurt me so badly, that boy still existed. I can forgive you, I said slowly. I have forgiven you, actually, but things can't go back to how they were. I know. I meant what I said in my letter. I'm not going to wait around hopping for scraps of your attention. I'm not going to make myself smaller so you feel bigger. If we're going to rebuild this relationship, it has to be different. I want that. I want different. I want real. It's going to take time. I have time. I have nothing but time now. He paused. And Mom, that plant you gave us, the fig tree, Sarah threw it out weeks ago, said it was dead and ugly. But I saved a cutting before she could. It's at my apartment. I've been trying to nurse it back to life. Something in my chest loosened. Not forgiveness, I'd already given that, but hope. The fragile, dangerous kind that I'd been trying so hard not to feel. You can bring it here, I said. I'm better with plants than you are. He smiled. A real smile, the first genuine one I'd seen in over a year. I'd like that. He didn't stay long. We were both too raw, too uncertain of this new territory. But before he left, he hugged me. Really hugged me, not the quick obligation kind, but the kind that said I'm sorry and I missed you and I'm trying. It wasn't everything. It wasn't instant healing, but it was a beginning. After he left, I sat in Richard's chair and looked around my small, dated, perfectly adequate house. The house my son had been ashamed of. The house I'd almost been ashamed of myself, seeing it through his eyes. But it was a good house. It had held love and life and all the important things. It had been enough for Richard and me. It had raised a boy into a man, even if that man had to lose his way before finding it again. A few days later, Tom came back with the plant cutting. It looked pitiful, barely alive, just a few leaves on a struggling stem. But there was green there. Potential. I planted it in a pot with good soil, set it in my kitchen window where it would get morning light, and began the work of bringing it back to life. He came by every week after that, not moving back in, not picking up like nothing had happened, but slowly, carefully rebuilding. We'd have coffee, talk about small things, weather books, his new apartment. We didn't talk about Sarah, didn't talk about the house or the money or any of it. Not yet. First, we had to remember how to just be together without all the weight of expectation and disappointment. It was strange at first, awkward. We'd both changed, become different versions of ourselves. I was less accommodating, more direct. He was less sure, more humble. We had to learn each other again. One evening in late April, he was helping me in the garden and he said out of nowhere, "I started paying you back. The $50,000. I set up a monthly transfer." I stopped what I was doing. "Tom, I told you that was a gift." "I know what you told me, but it doesn't feel right keeping it, not after everything." "I don't want your money." "Then put it in a savings account. Use it for a trip somewhere. I don't care, but let me do this. Let me show you that I understand the value of what you gave me, not just the money, but everything." I looked at him, dirt under his fingernails from helping me plant tomatoes, his expensive work clothes getting dirty in my unfashionable garden. "Okay," I said, "but on one condition. You stop treating it like a debt and start treating it like what it was, a mother helping her son." "Deal." We worked in silence for a while, the comfortable kind. Then Tom said, "I talked to Sarah's lawyer yesterday. They're drawing up the divorce papers." "How do you feel about that?" He thought for a moment. Relieved, honestly. Sad for what I thought it was, but relieved that I don't have to pretend anymore. That I can just be myself, whoever that is. "You're finding out," I said. "That's what this time is for." "I'm scared I won't like who I am, that I've become this person I can't respect." I put down my trowel and looked at him. "Tom, the fact that you're worried about that means you're already on the right path. The people who are truly lost don't question themselves." Summer came slowly, then all at once. The plant cutting in my kitchen window started growing. New leaves appeared. It got stronger, taller, greener. Tom noticed. "I can't believe you saved it," he said one afternoon. "I told you I'm good with plants. You just have to care for them properly. Give them what they need." He met my eyes. "Is that a metaphor?" "Everything's a metaphor if you look at it right." He laughed, the real laugh, the one I remembered from when he was young. By July, Tom had settled into his new life. The divorce was proceeding. He'd started therapy, which he told me about hesitantly, like he thought I'd judge him for it. I didn't. I was proud of him for doing the work. He came to my 4th of July barbecue, small affair, just neighbors and some people from church. He helped me grill burgers and told embarrassing stories about his childhood to Linda Morrison, who laughed and said, "Your mother never told us you were such a troublemaker." "I wasn't," he protested. "I was the good kid." "You were," I agreed, "most of the time." Later, sitting on my back porch while fireflies appeared in the growing dark, Tom said, "I like your friends. They're good people. They're real people. That's what I mean. No one's putting on a show or pretending to be something they're not. That's because they're too old to care what anyone thinks." "No," he said, "it's because they know what matters." We sat quietly for a while. Then he said, "Thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up on me, for writing that letter, for making me look at myself honestly, for letting me come back even after He trailed off. "You're my son. That doesn't change. How we treat each other, what we expect, what we accept, that can change. But the basic fact of you being my son, that's permanent. I'm going to do better." "I know you are. You already are." August brought his birthday, 32. I made his favorite dinner, pot roast with potatoes and carrots, the meal he'd requested every birthday as a child. He came over and we ate in my small dining room, and when I brought out the cake, homemade chocolate with terrible icing because I'd never been good at decorating, he actually teared up. "You remembered," he said. "Of course I remembered. I'm your mother." Sarah never remembered. Or she'd remember, but she'd want to go out to some fancy restaurant instead of just this. Just simple and home and good. "Well," I said, "you're allowed to want both. Fancy restaurants and home-cooked meals. You don't have to choose." "I choose this," he said. "I choose simple and real." The divorce was finalized in September. Tom came over afterward, looking exhausted and relieved in equal measure. "It's done," he said. "How do you feel?" "Free, sad, guilty, all of it." He sat down heavily. "She's keeping the house. All I wanted was my stuff and to be done." "And the money, your money." He shook his head. "Doesn't matter. The lawyer said I could fight for some of it back, but I don't want to. I just want to move on." What about my 50,000? That's different. That was never her money. That was yours that I borrowed. He looked at me. I'm still paying you back. I've already sent you 12,000 so far. Tom, I told you. No, let me do this, please. Let me prove that I understand what you gave me wasn't just money. It was trust. And I violated that trust not by losing the money in the divorce, but by how I treated you. So let me earn back the trust. The money is just. It's symbolic, I guess. I nodded. Okay. I'm thinking of moving, he said after a moment. The downtown apartment is fine, but it's temporary. I want something more permanent. Something I choose for me, not for anyone else. What are you looking for? He smiled. Something small, real, maybe an older place in a neighborhood with character. I don't need granite countertops, I just need a home. That sounds perfect. October brought cooler weather, and the plant cutting, now in a bigger pot, had grown to almost 3 feet tall. Tom marveled at it every time he saw it. Look at that. It was basically dead, and now it's thriving. Things can recover, I said, if you give them the right conditions and enough time. He helped me prepare the garden for winter, cutting back the perennials, cleaning up the beds. We worked together in comfortable silence, and I realized this was what I'd wanted all along. Not perfect, not fancy, just present, just real. I signed a lease today, he said as we were finishing up, on a house in Maple Grove. 2-bedroom bungalow built in the 70s. Needs some work, but it has good bones. There's a big yard and the neighborhood is full of families. Actual families, not just people performing family. That sounds wonderful. I want you to come see it before I move in. Help me figure out what to do with it. I'd like that. And Mom, he looked at me, dirt on his cheek, leaves in his hair. I was thinking maybe I could come over for Sunday dinners, like we used to do with Dad, if you want. Every Sunday. Every Sunday I'm in town. I want. He struggled for the words. I want traditions again, real ones, not the performing kind. I felt tears prick my eyes. I'd love that. We started Sunday dinners the next week. Nothing fancy. Just me cooking the kinds of meals I'd always made, and Tom showing up to help and eat and talk. Sometimes he'd bring groceries. Sometimes he'd do dishes. Sometimes we'd just sit and watch old movies after dinner, the way he used to do with Richard and me. It was simple. It was ordinary. It was everything. November came and Tom invited me to see his new place before he moved in. It was exactly what he described. An older ranch house with worn hardwood floors and outdated fixtures, and a huge backyard full of oak trees losing their leaves. It needs paint, he said apologetically as we walked through. And the kitchen is pretty rough, but I don't know, Mom. It feels right. It feels like a place where I could actually be happy. It's perfect, I said, and I meant it. We spent the day there, measuring windows for curtains, planning where furniture would go, talking about what colors to paint. He listened to my suggestions but made his own choices, not to please anyone else, just what he liked. I'm going to have a garden, he said, looking out at the backyard. I don't know anything about gardening, but I want to learn. Maybe you could teach me. I'd love to. On Thanksgiving, Tom invited me to his new house. He cooked, following a recipe on his phone with intense concentration. The turkey was slightly dry and the stuffing too salty, but it was the best Thanksgiving I'd had in 2 years. This is nice, he said as we ate at his new dining table, an old one he'd found at a thrift store and refinished himself. Just us. It is nice. Next year, maybe we can invite people. Your friends from church, my coworkers, make it a bigger thing. But this year, I needed it to just be us. To prove to myself that I could do this. That I could be the kind of person who makes Thanksgiving dinner for his mom. You proved it. I'm trying. Every day I'm trying to be better. To be the kind of person Dad would be proud of. Your father would be proud of you. Not for the house or the career or any of that. He'd be proud that you recognized when you'd lost your way and you found the courage to find it again. December brought Christmas, and this time I decorated. Tom helped me put up the tree, the same artificial one Richard and I had bought 20 years ago. We strung the old lights and hung the ornaments Tom had made in elementary school. "I forgot about these," he said, holding up a popsicle stick reindeer covered in glitter. "I can't believe you kept all of them." Of course I kept them, every single one. We spent Christmas Eve at my house and Christmas Day at his. He'd bought me a beautiful gardening set, high-quality tools and a canvas carrier, and a gift certificate to the nursery for spring plants. "I wanted to get you something useful," he said. "Something you'd actually use and enjoy, not just something expensive to prove I have money." "It's perfect." I'd gotten him books for his new house, classics he'd loved as a boy, a cookbook, a guide to home repair, things to build a life with. "Thank you, Mom, for everything, not just the gifts, but for," he gestured vaguely, "for being patient with me, for letting me find my way back. You're my son. There's nowhere back from. You're just here and I'm here, and we're figuring it out together." Winter settled in deep and cold. Tom came over every Sunday without fail. We'd cook together, eat together, talk about our weeks. He told me about his therapy sessions, about the things he was learning about himself, about how his need for external validation had driven so many of his bad choices. "I'm working on it," he said, "learning to measure success by internal things instead of external ones. It's hard. I keep catching myself wanting to impress people, wanting them to think I'm successful." "That's human," I told him. "We all want to be seen and valued. The key is choosing who gets to define those terms for you." "I'm choosing me now, and you, and the people who actually matter." One Sunday in January, almost exactly 2 years after he'd asked me for the money, Tom handed me an envelope. "What's this?" "Open it." Inside was a check for $26,000, the remaining balance of what he'd borrowed. "Tom, I know we talked about this. I know you said it was a gift, but I finished paying it back, every penny, and I need you to take it because I need to know that I kept my word, that I'm the kind of person who finishes what he starts, who honors his commitments." I looked at the check, looked at my son, saw the man he was becoming, not perfect, still figuring things out, but honest, real, trying. "Okay," I said, "but I'm putting half of it in an account for you, for when you really need it, for the right reasons." He started to argue, then stopped, smiled. "Okay, that's fair." February brought his 33rd birthday. We celebrated at his house with a small group, my neighbors, his coworkers, a few people from his therapy group. Nothing fancy. Just pizza and beer and people talking and laughing in his living room with its thrift store furniture and mismatched dishes. Sarah's name didn't come up once. Riverside Estates felt like another lifetime. "This is good," Tom said to me as we stood in his kitchen washing dishes after everyone left. "This is what life should feel like." "What's that?" "Comfortable, real, like I don't have to perform or prove anything, like I can just be." "That's exactly what it should feel like." He dried the last plate, set it in the cabinet. "I have something to tell you. I've been seeing someone." "Oh." "Her name is Rebecca. She's a teacher. We met at a coffee shop. She was reading the same book I was reading. It's new, really new, but..." He smiled. "She's different from Sarah. She's real. When I told her about my old house, about the whole mess with the divorce, she said, 'Good, I'm glad you got out of that.' She didn't judge me. She just accepted where I am now." "She sounds wonderful." "She is. And Mom, she wants to meet you. I told her about you, about everything, and she said she'd love to meet you, if that's okay." "Of course it's okay. I'd love to meet her." "I'm not rushing anything," he added quickly. "Taking it slow, but I wanted you to know. Wanted you to be part of this from the beginning, the way I should have done with Sarah." "Thank you for telling me." March brought Rebecca to Sunday dinner. She was lovely, warm, and genuine, wearing jeans and a sweater, bringing homemade cookies and easy conversation. She asked about my garden, about my life, listened when I talked instead of just waiting for her turn to speak. After dinner, she and Tom did dishes while I sat in the living room, and I could hear them talking and laughing, the easy comfort of two people who genuinely enjoyed each other. When they left, Tom hugged me tight. "What do you think?" "I think she's wonderful. I think she sees you, really sees you, and likes what she sees." "She does. It's different, Mom. It's not about impressing anyone, it's just about being together." That's how it should be. Spring arrived with green pushing up through brown earth. Tom came over to help me plan the garden, and we planted vegetables and flowers together, getting dirt under our nails and sun on our faces. The cutting from the fig plant was thriving now, almost 4 feet tall with broad, healthy leaves. Tom touched one gently. "You saved it," he said, not for the first time. "We saved it," I corrected. "You brought it back. You didn't let it die completely. I just gave it the right conditions to recover." He looked at me. "Are we still talking about the plant?" "Maybe, maybe not." He smiled, hugged me. "I love you, Mom. I don't say it enough, but I do. And I'm sorry for the time I wasted being someone I wasn't, for the hurt I caused, for forgetting what mattered." "I know, and I love you too. Not for what you achieve or what you own or who you impress. Just for being you, for showing up, for doing the work to become someone you can respect." "I'm trying." "I know, and that's enough." We worked in the garden until the sun started setting, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. The air smelled like earth and possibility, like new growth after a hard winter. Inside my house, the one Tom had been embarrassed of, the one that had never been fancy enough for his old life, dinner was waiting. Simple food, nothing special. But it would be shared with love, with honesty, with the kind of presence that no amount of money can buy. Tom had his own house now, his own life, his own path forward. But he came back here every Sunday, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Because this was home, not the building, but the connection, the realness, the love that had survived even when it had been tested almost to breaking. The money was paid back. The fig plant was thriving. My son had found his way home. Not to the house I helped him buy, to something more important, to himself, to authenticity, to the values we'd tried to teach him. And in the process, I'd found my way too, to self-respect, to boundaries, to the understanding that love doesn't mean accepting mistreatment. That sacrifice should never come at the cost of your dignity. You can rebuild a house, I'd told him once, but not the kind you shut your mother out of. We'd rebuilt it anyway, not the house in Riverside Estates, but the home we'd always had, the one built on truth and effort and showing up, even when it's hard. It wasn't perfect. We still had hard days, moments of awkwardness, old wounds that occasionally ached, but we had each other, really had each other, not the performance of relationship, but the real thing. As the stars came out and we finally headed inside, Tom said, "Same time next Sunday." "Same time next Sunday," I agreed. And I knew he'd be there, not because he owed me, not because he was trying to prove something, but because this was where he chose to be. That was worth more than $50,000, worth more than any house, worth more than all the granite countertops and designer furniture in the world. The money was gone, but I'd realized something worth more. Love that asks for nothing can still teach the hardest lessons. I didn't lose a son that day. I just stopped waiting at his door. And eventually, he'd found his way back. Not to my door, but to something deeper. To the truth of who we were to each other. To the love that had always been there, underneath all the pain and pride and mistakes. The plant she'd gifted them grew strong in my kitchen window now, reaching toward the light, thriving despite everything. Just like us,